How many local martial arts competitions have ever had such an impact on the lives of so many people, both real and fictitious? As the 1984 San Fernando All-Valley Under-18 Karate Tournament, we're hoping that the answer is none. Cobra Kai enjoys bringing back performers from previous films, but which Karate Kid characters will feature in the new season of Cobra Kai, or which character will be severed? Let's have a look at the video. First off, Cobra Kai storyline. Cobra Kai continues the Karate Kid story in real time. Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence squared off the All-Valley Karate Tournament decades ago. The All-Valley Tournament is the franchise's ultimate test of martial ability, strength, and speed. Even today, the old antagonism reignites simply by mentioning one other's name. When Johnny saves tormented Miguel, Johnny's son, from his tormentors, he's inspired to reopen the infamous Cobra Kai dojo. Meanwhile, while Daniel's daughter, Samantha, finds herself in the heart of this turmoil, surrounded by phony friends, Johnny's estranged, mischievous son, Robbie, unwittingly falls under Daniel's wing and flourishes in ways worthy of Mr. Miyagi. Cobra Kai has given its fair share of excitement to its fans by welcoming the original Karate Kid cast members. Let's see who made it to the show. Up next, which members of the Karate Kid cast are in the show? First up, Daniel LaRusso. Daniel was a tormented high school student whose life was transformed when he met a sensei who taught him significant life lessons as well as self-defense. Daniel used his martial arts training to protect himself and others, winning 2 straight karate championships and defeating violent opponents. Johnny relaunched Cobra Kai and pushed Daniel to oppose its influence in the San Fernando Valley. Daniel maturely integrates Mr. Miyagi's teachings with his modern values and hard at his best, yet he's still hot-tempered and makes major costly judgment errors. And Johnny Lawrence. Johnny Lawrence is still mostly locked in his glory years of the early 1980s, but he found a new motivation when he relaunched Cobra Kai and began to teach his students his form of badass karate. After all 3 years, Johnny still resents Daniel, but Cobra Kai has challenged their animosity, especially since Johnny's son, Robbie, became Daniel's student. Despite his flaws, Johnny has proven to be a good karate instructor who sincerely cares about Miguel and his Cobra Kai students. Then we have Terry Silver. Terry Silver was the financier behind the enterprise. Its establishing Cobra Kai bought the dojo for his once buddy, John Kreese, so he could pursue his blossoming enthusiasm for martial art and instructing kids. In Cobra Kai, he reappears as a wealthy man, apparently having abandoned his former ways in favor of a quieter, simpler life. But when John Kreese drags him back in, Silver demonstrates that he hasn't changed a bit. He becomes an even more formidable foe to both Daniel and Kreese. Next up, Mike Barnes. Sean Kanan is the newest Karate Kid actor to return to the Cobra Kai series. You probably remember him as Mike Barnes, dubbed Karate's bad boy. Barnes was a selfish and deceitful professional karate fighter hired by Terry Silver to defeat Daniel LaRusso in the 1985 All-Valley Karate Tournament in exchange for half ownership of Silver's new Cobra Kai dojos. Let's not forget Chozen Taguchi. While fans anticipated Chozen would return for the 3rd season, his presence was even more funny than imagined. After an awkward conversation, Chozen demonstrates to Daniel that there are Miyagi-Do lessons that Mr. Miyagi never taught him. He also fights him in one of Cobra Kai's less exciting but still excellent fight scenes, appearing to hit him hard only to knock his nose and giggle uncontrollably. Chozen, a clearly altered man, says that he has to strive to restore his honor and that he has been through some difficult moments since their confrontation. Don't go anywhere, there are more familiar faces. Next, John Kreese. John Kreese returned at the end of Cobra Kai Season 1 and replaced himself as the Season 2 villain. Kreese initially gained Johnny's trust by appearing as a down-on-his-luck hobo, but this was all part of his scheme to take Johnny's Cobra Kai school and poison his students with his perverted karate philosophy. Nonetheless, there are various characters from the films who may be used. Up next, who hasn't made an appearance yet? First up, Hilary Swank. In 1994's The Next Karate Child, Hilary Swank played Julie Pierce, Mr. Miyagi's protege, following in the footsteps of Ralph Macchio as Karate Kid. Hurwitz asked us to just wait. Julie is little more than a female version of Daniel LaRusso, the primary protagonist from the first 3 Karate Kid movies. With rage issues rendering her ineffective, she has some dubious logic that doesn't make sense. Because of her anger issues, she is incredibly unpleasant to practically everyone she meets. However, her behavior changes during the film, and she ends up being more likable. Next, Pat E. Johnson. Pat E. Johnson served as the initial 3 films as referee. He also assisted with the fight choreography. While he isn't a main character, he is a well-known figure in the martial arts world as one of the foremost proponents of the Korean martial art of Hapkido. Zabka continued to train with him after the events of the Karate Kid Part 1. Johnson is already in his early 80s, and many are concerned about his health, but even a brief cameo, a la Shu, Tomita, and Lively would definitely definitely warmed the hearts of admirers. And now, Eric McGowan. If Julie reappears in the picture, perhaps Eric McGowan will as well. Eric begins as an adversary in the next Karate Kid, as a member of the cutthroat Alpha Elite high school squad. But Julie grows fond of him and eventually protects him from the rest of the Alpha Elite gang. A little about the character. Eric's family is struggling financially. His father abandoned him and his mother when he was approximately 10 years old, although he sent money to them. But after a while, he stopped, forcing Eric to obtain a job. He chose to work as a railroad yard security guard as his lone link to his grandfather. But then he joined the Alpha Elite after entering high school, which guaranteed him a recommendation to the Air Force Academy. Yikes, it's a bit overcrowded in the villain department. And Dutch. The most apparent example is Dutch, Chad McQueen. Dutch is a significant enemy in the first Karate Kid film. He is a Cobra Kai dojo pupil, a member of Johnny Lawrence's gang, and an adult prison convict. Dutch was noticeably absent from Season 2, Episode 6, Take a Right, in which the old Cobra Kai gang reassembled. His absence was explained as time spent in Lompoc Federal Prison. McQueen, Steve McQueen's son, is still alive, but he retired from film acting in 2001. The original Cobra Kai gang is said to have departed the dojo when Kreese attempted to choke out Lawrence at the start of the Karate Kid Part 1. He's gotten a couple of shout-outs on Cobra Kai so far, like when his old friends recall the time he went to juvenile detention after breaking a dartboard at a bar, or the time he got arrested for hot wiring a go-kart. And now, Daryl Vidal. Daryl Vidal, a minor character, is also a well-known martial artist. In the first film, he was credited as a karate semi-finalist, but it's widely assumed that his character's name was Vidal, and most people just call him that. He also stood in for Morita for the famous crane kick on the beach post. Vidal continues to teach his Murrieta, California dojo, Vidal Kenpo, and is currently a 10th degree black belt in Kenpo Karate. Although his role is tiny, less than that of the referee, a cameo would be an excellent way to acknowledge his contribution to the series. And Silver Snake. If you're going to bring back Terry Silver to the Karate Kid franchise, you might as well bring his son, Snake, Jonathan Avildsen, with him. Snake Silver was one of the most badass names in the Karate Kid franchise, although one that clearly marks him as a villain. I'd like to see Cobra Kai go into this guy's backstory, and more importantly, whether or not he truly went by Snake Silver over the years. Although one that clearly marks him as a villain, I'd like to see Cobra Kai go into this guy's backstory, and more importantly, whether or not he truly went by Snake Silver over the years, and how it worked out for him. How does one go about making a good first impression with a name like Snake Silver? Lastly, Chosen's accomplices. Then there were the thugs. Chosen had two accomplices in the Karate Kid Part 2, Toshio and Taro. However, they were both minor characters. Toshio continues to perform and has been in minor roles as recently as 2019. Taro retired from cinema acting in the late 1980s. Barnes, like Chosen, had henchmen Snake and Dennis, William Christopher Ford. Avildsen is the son of Jonathan G. Avildsen, the director of the first three Karate Kid films, but he's not started a film since 2002. William Christopher Ford is still acting and producing, including various martial arts-themed productions through his firm Kaizen Dojo Films. Ford holds a black belt in the Okinawan Shorin-ryu martial art. That's a wrap. Let us know which character has more chances to be welcomed in the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!